Hello, everybody. This is Austin, Odyssey Geek, and this is my very first live stream for this channel. And make sure everything's running here. Okay, we're good. All right. Anyway, this is my very first live stream for Odyssey Geek, and the reason I'm doing the live stream is I'm really behind on reviewing the Odyssey Adventure Club episodes, and for my main videos where I do a lot of editing and recording, I want to focus more on the Album 62 episodes, and figured this would be a little bit quicker way to review those episodes and also give you guys a chance to watch me as I record. And also, when you guys are watching, you can also do the live chat on there if you want to put in your opinions or just want to say hi. You're welcome to do that as well. So just be clear, this won't be every video from Odyssey Geek. Actually, I don't need those headphones anymore. And there's still going to be the regular videos, the real polished ones, if you can say that. But today we're just going to review A Perfect Testimony and Unfair Game. So if you haven't heard this on the Odyssey Adventure Club yet, I don't recommend that you listen. There's lots of spoilers in my reviews. So you've been warned. Okay. Let me bring up this here. All right. All right. So one thing I noticed right off when I guess it kind of started with One More Name, but there was no mention or no clips or anything at the beginning that saying that was an Adventure Odyssey Club episode. This one did, which had Bob Smithhauser. I think is the club producer saying that it's one of the benefits of being a club member, and also in the wrap-ups, Chris doesn't mention it being an Odyssey Adventure Club or Adventures in Odyssey Club exclusive anymore. So I don't know if that means that they're making it more so that they might be able to share it more outside the club later, or if that's just in case they maybe do another a different name for the club again. Going right in with the flashback, the girl Rose, about what was happening there in, I can't remember what country it was, but about her feeling God leading her to pray for the pastor and his leg was healed, and which I think is a really good thing to teach kids. I mean, there's a lot of episodes in Odyssey about the power of prayer, but I think a lot of times people don't on prayer they it's basically like the last resort, or they don't put much emphasis on it, because prayer is really, really powerful. And throughout my life, being on the mission field and being in several churches, I've seen many miracles that God has done and several prayers that He's answered in my life. And like Camilla learns later, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but not every prayer God answers the way that we want. Sometimes He says yes, and sometimes He says wait, and sometimes He says no, I have something better. But showing that kids, anybody can have that big of an impact, and God can help anybody was really cool. And I'm not sure if it's a Bible study or Sunday school that Connie's teaching, because I was kind of expecting Whit, because I think Whit is usually the Sunday school teacher. I know Connie has a couple times. I think she usually does a Bible study with the kids. So I'm not quite sure what that was there, but it's nice to hear Buddy Norman, who we heard last year in Predicament of Biblical Proportions, and I really enjoyed that episode. So I was excited to hear from him again. His voice already sounds a little bit changing already, so poor guy. I hope we get to hear several more episodes from before they change his actor or get rid of his character, because I really like Buddy Norman. And I know one thing that people pointed out, that Rose sounded a lot like Emily Jones, and I didn't hear that the first time, but listening to it a second time, I can really hear that. And it's probably because it's an adult playing a kid, and sometimes when an adult plays a kid, especially for females, some of the voices can sound pretty alike, except for in case the one plays Nelson Swanson, who's actually a woman, and you can't really tell that at all. So I can see how some people may it might be a little bit confusing, but it didn't bother me very much. And also with them misunderstanding the verse about, work out your faith in fear and trembling, it reminded me a lot of from album, let's see, 46, I think it was, The Poor Rich Man, when Marvin and Tamika and Grady misunderstood about, thinking that rich people can't get into heaven. And I don't know. You think the kids would ask right away what that meant? Either Connie, and I know Whit wasn't in this episode, but I know we wouldn't have an episode, but I mean, we've seen this kind of thing happen before, and it can be kind of amusing sometimes. Kids misunderstanding some stuff about life. But I don't know. They ask questions about everything else, so I don't know why they wouldn't ask them about that. It was kind of neat hearing Matthew. He was playing a Thrown Away Verminoids game, and we haven't heard Verminoids in a long time, and usually it's Barrett that's playing Verminoids, and he said it was kind of thrown away, so I wonder if that might have been, well, I don't think it was Barrett's, because that one got run over and dropped by a bird and all that, so I doubt it's the same one, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And Camilla praying that his game would be fixed. I mean, you can pray about anything. And I know kids, I'm not sure how to say it. Kids can, really take things to the extreme. It's kind of funny, and it worked. And I'm not saying that God didn't answer a prayer. It's just that, I don't know. And you can pray about anything, but we can see Camilla was really grasping at straws, trying to do the same thing that she heard. Hearing Buddy, like, I think Buddy probably misunderstood the verse. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Camilla was thinking about the testimony. Her testimony she thought was boring, which actually, if you think about it, her testimony is actually pretty cool. Like, she went to see Samuel in the Bible times and got saved after that. I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, everybody's testimony is amazing, but that's an interesting point. Like, not a lot of people in Odyssey have that. Well, no, Eugene did after being in the Imagination Station, and Kelly and Digger Digwillow. So I don't know. It's still interesting though. Anyway, back to Buddy. Him talking, thinking about organized faith and fear and trembling, and he's kind of a pretty shy guy and really nervous about stuff. So him actually trying to make himself scared, I don't know. Now it was kind of funny. I mean, his fantasy, I think he was walking home, this fantasy of like, I can't remember whatever Warrior Princess or whatever one that Katie Lee played with him. There's some great sound effects there from the sound designers, and making that orc even scarier, like having snakes for head or coming out of its head or something like that, or it was his geometry teacher and all that, which when he said that, the guy said something, but I couldn't understand what it was. I don't know if you guys picked out what he said, but it sounded really garbled or something there. So I didn't understand I don't know if it's like a joke or something, but for some reason I couldn't hear it for some reason. And also with his friends, because later talks about the going out to take the garbage out and dinosaurs and all that. It also reminded me of Trent, because Buddy reminds me a lot of Trent and a little bit of Lawrence. But also like his imaginary friends trying to help him. That sounds a lot like Trent in the Present Long Ago, where he has Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Crosby and Detective Columbo, which I thought that episode was a lot more unique and a little bit funnier. But I kind of got those kind of vibes from this episode. And I liked hearing that from Scott and Jalen, and their last name escapes me now, but they were in, or at least Scott was in, The Grass is Always Greener in album 62. Excuse me. And talk about her having a baby. So I'm liking that they're using those characters. I don't know if they're gonna be a regular character, but it's nice having continuity like that. And it's an unsafe family, so maybe they'll be the next converts on Odyssey, or maybe they're just here for a couple times. But I'm glad they brought that in from that episode. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Buddy, when he was taking the garbage out, and his thought his driveway was pretty scary. I thought almost immediately when I first heard it of Mandy's driveway, because in Slumber Party, Liz says, Mandy's driveway is the scariest place on Earth, or the scariest place in Odyssey, and being afraid of the glowing-eyed monster. That brought back some good memories. And at the baseball game with Camilla and Ava and Jalen, there, it was pretty funny, and Camilla trying to get attention, but actually making things worse. But believing that her leg was healed, and I don't know what happened, if they actually threw them out when they thought that she didn't have a broken leg and being in the handicapped area. I don't know what happened there. Probably better that we don't, but it was fun. It was funny. I don't know. It might have went a little bit too far, or Camilla went a little bit too far, I think, and trying to do like what Rose did, basically. When the kids were discussing where the scariest place in Odyssey was, like Matthew mentioned, like an abandoned or burned down doll factory or something like that. And I know Odyssey's big, and there's also places that we never heard of, but that sounds, I don't know, that sounds kind of odd to me. In the mine is a little bit believable, and it was funny, Connie building all this up and like, oh no, don't go there. So I'm guessing kind of that's probably why Connie was in this episode, not Whit, because Whit would never do something like that. I mean, he'd warn them against it, but he wouldn't play up the scariness or the danger factor of it, probably, except just to warn them. And him going in there, I didn't really think that he'd. I thought he might get hurt, but his imaginary friends trying to talk him out of it, and then hearing their voices, and then hearing the other kids. That was a nice transition, and kind of didn't expect it. When they finally got out and his leg was broken, or his arm, I can't remember. Camilla's I know just what to do, and next scene it showed that she had made like a splint and all that. I mean, I'm sure they probably they prayed there, but sometimes we gotta do what we were able to do, and we pray for things, and we trust God to do it, but He expects us to do our part in things too. So I'm glad Camilla learned her lesson with that, and I hope Buddy did too. And I think it was a pretty good resolution. I wasn't too impressed with this episode when I first heard it. I thought it was, I don't know, one of the lesser Odyssey episodes. And another thing I noticed about this episode is it's the first episode. I'm not sure if it's first written, but the first one that we get to hear from the new writer on Odyssey, Sam Sexiri, I think it is. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Not the best episode to start out. I mean, when you have these kind of episodes, like all the fantasy stuff and imaginary stuff and all this kind of big stuff, it's hard to make it. I don't know. Odyssey has room to do pretty much anything. They don't really jump the shark in anything, because they can do this world kind of stuff, and then real dramatic stuff, and still keep it grounded. And I think it was, but this episode is kind of similar to like those older episodes in some ways. I still liked hearing from Buddy. I don't know. Camilla, I think, a little out of character in some ways, possibly. But I mean, it was an okay episode. It just wasn't the greatest. I don't think it's a real memorable episode. So that's why for a perfect testimony, I'm only giving it 3 stars out of 5. Okay, let's see here. Now on to Unfair Game. Now, I was really excited about this episode because I heard that one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite time periods of an Odyssey, Marvin, was coming back in this. And his voice really hasn't changed a whole lot. I know when we've last heard him in album 50, his voice was actually getting pretty deep there and didn't sound much like his character's age. But it was still neat to hear him there. But his voice really doesn't sound that different. He sounds a little bit older and probably more college age, I guess. the group they're with, Sports Ambassador. I think they take college kids. I think it's college kids that are only. I don't think any middle school or high schoolers go that I know of. And Ryan Cummings, which we haven't heard from in a long time. I think we last heard him in. I think it was the Holy Hoopster in album 56, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I'm sure they're kind of making it so that Marvin's older. So I'm guessing, is Ryan Cummings older? Is he out of middle school and high school now? So I hope not, because I do really like Ryan Cummings' character, and I don't think we hear enough of him, frankly. So I hope that doesn't mean that he's not going to be around as much. But Adam Wiley's voice has stayed constant for a long time, so they could. And they don't mention their ages in this. They don't say who, because it's fictional. They can do what they want. It's Odyssey time, so it's not a real big deal. But I'm hoping that it doesn't mean that they're going to be phasing Ryan's character out completely. And one thing I know Jason was going to be in this episode as the coach, but I was kind of surprised that Coach Chang Feng wasn't the coach, because he coached in a baseball or softball. Yeah, baseball. No, the Odyssey Coyotes is baseball or softball. I think it's baseball. And he also coached the Odyssey Owls, the basketball team there. So I wonder if that's the person. I don't know why they didn't choose him. Maybe they thought Jason would be a better character, which I think Jason was a better choice for this, even though, like he said, he didn't know anything about basketball, which I'm kind of surprised that they had him as the coach when he doesn't really know that much about basketball or sports in general. I mean, you can watch a lot of basketball, but telling people what they should do or how to improve on stuff, it'd be kind of difficult if you've never done it before. So I don't know why they did it, but he was still great here in this episode. I like the character of Ricky. He was a fun character. I know he's really get on Marvin's nerves. And hearing that he got all of his trash talk from us Americans and him using it, he probably, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty funny, but I kind of wonder if it went too far. I know, parents don't want their kids talking like that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of surprised there's so much of it in this episode. I mean, there's gentle teasing, in which there was later, but it was more a little bit kind of mean spirited. And his character, I know Jason said, you don't expect Christians to act like, or you don't expect non-Christians to act like Christians when they're not. So that went along with it, but I'm kind of surprised they got all that stuff in there, especially after they never released career moves, that split episode, because they felt there's a lot of names for that kids would use to hurt and bully others, where there's a lot of talk sort of like that with this stuff here. It's not harsh. It's not something you wouldn't hear. I don't know. It seemed kind of odd that they had so much in there. I mean, it was funny. I mean, I liked it as a character, but I was kind of wondering how a lot of parents felt about that being in there. But it was pretty creative. I know Marshall Younger wrote this episode, and Marshall, I think, writes most, if not all, the sports episodes for Odyssey, and he does a great job with that. If he came up with those, like the parade defense waving as he goes by, and the watering a dead apple tree because your efforts are fruitless, or something like that, those are pretty funny. And I love, one of my favorite moments from the episode was with Marvin talking to Andres. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It sounds more French, but Andreas, something like that. But the young kid there, and him jamming with him with drumming and all that. And I really liked how Marvin mentioned the Cool Dogs, his band. That's a nice throwback to when he had that. And when Andres asked, did he play in front of big stadiums in front of a lot of fans? It's like, no, just in front of my sister in garage or something like that. But which is partially true, but she later did join them, so it's partially correct. But she became part of the band too. I don't know, maybe she didn't stay in there very long after they joined together. And also, I love how John Campbell does a really great job of this, where sounds or other instruments that are playing, it goes into the transition music. So them drumming, it wouldn't on the little drum or the cup or whatever, and that when it mixed into the transition music. for it, which was really cool. I love it when that's worked in there. And just hearing like the description, like when Marvin went to Smoky Mountain, the big trash heap and all that is so sad that some people have to do that. And basically, like I said, like that's like their job to sell that stuff. And even Saturday, they have tours come there just to see how they live like that. And like that's really insensitive. And when Jason, it was kind of funny. Jason, when he was on to Marvin, he said like, when I was scoping out the hotel, and it's like Marvin's like, scoping. He said, oh, old habit. It's kind of funny, to his spy days. Who knows? Maybe Jason was chosen because there was kind of mission. I know he retired, but he never really retires. So maybe he was doing something else there while he was coaching. And Marvin had his heart was in the right place, trying to throw the game so Ricky would be noticed by the coach or the scout or whoever he was from the Olympics. But still, that's not honest. I know he meant well, but I'm glad that Ricky noticed it, and you can tell when people are doing stuff for you, or they actually not trying to do it sincerely. And I kind of wonder. I know he said that he couldn't get out of that kind of place. Like maybe he didn't even want to leave. Like maybe his family, he didn't want to leave them there in the situation that he was in. So I'm sure he probably he wanted to get out of that situation. But maybe he didn't want to leave his family there if he was called to like by the talent guy. Let's see here. And I think Ryan wasn't much in this episode very much. I know Marvin was the main focus, and I think he was really showed his compassion, and his resolution with Ricky was good, and that Ricky finally came around a little bit and became friends, and the story had a pretty good message, treating others with respect. I'm not sure. I don't think that's like the main thing with it, but understanding others, respecting them, and being a friend. And also, I think the main thing was being a representative of Jesus and going to people that haven't heard of him or know him. So this was a really good episode. I was really surprised they used Marvin because I know they kind of, after the hiatus, they kind of scrubbed all the characters that were during that time away to make room for the new characters. I know they like some of the older ones like Jack and Joanne. They were back for a little bit, for just a little bit of things here and there. Excuse me, but I was kind of disappointed that we didn't hear more about what the Washington family is up to. Like one of the biggest things I really didn't like was there wasn't much resolution with Kelly. About whether they actually adopted her. I know they had her in foster care, and we just heard her last time she got saved after seeing Imagination Station Adventure. And I know they mentioned in the past, Kelly's mother may get her back, but I wonder if they actually did adopt her or she went back to her mother. And also, I was always wondering what or who her father was. Maybe somebody that we knew from Odyssey's past, maybe. So, unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see a whole Washington family reunion because, unfortunately, in that J. Karen Thomas, who played Elaine Washington, died a couple years ago, which is really sad. It's hard losing anybody that's been on Odyssey, especially a character like that. But it was nice hearing from Marvin, and also having the same character, and his voice hasn't changed that much, so you recognize that it's him. So this episode, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. There wasn't a whole lot I didn't like, just those concerns I thought some other people might have, but to me, it wasn't a big deal. So I really did enjoy this episode quite a bit. I think it's been one of the best sport episodes of Odyssey for a while, which I think the last sports episode we had was the Holy Hoopster. I think it was, and that was a pretty good one too. So great episode. Oh yeah, my rating. My rating for Unfair Game is going to be 4 stars out of 5. And let's see, that is it for the reviews there. For the next Odyssey Adventure Club episodes, I think this month's is Swept Away, so that's a 2-parter. So I'll be waiting before those 2 episodes are out. I'll probably do a regular video for that, but we'll see what happens. Like these live streams will be only occasional because I still like doing those other videos. But yeah, I wanted to get these reviews out of the way because I know I've been doing a lot of review videos, and I'm wanting to get some more original ideas, more different topics that aren't just episode specific. So hopefully we'll get some more of that done, and with it being the summer, hopefully we'll be able to get some more videos out, and hopefully some more content out in the next couple of months. So thank you guys so much for joining me and watching this, and thank you to all that subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Odyssey Geek so you'll know when new videos are coming out. And if you didn't make it for the live broadcast, you're more than welcome to still post a comment on it. Tell me what your thoughts were on these episodes. And we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.